ADHD simply stands for one or two things. It's the ain't no daddy at home disorder or ain't no discipline at home disorder. I feel like the root of all evil starts with the lack of discipline.
Black people need to look for structures and systems that freeze their thinking psychologically, mentally, spiritually, so they can develop systems that allow their people to thrive.
A lot of people aren't afraid of the rules. They're afraid of the structure. So it's no surprise where Black men is the fastest reverting community in Islam in America.
There's no true Black system set in place for these people to be free without them even having to go to prison.
I keep the sword sharp. You prepare for war in times of peace.
To be at peace is to be prepared for war. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Peace to the believers.
Peace to the non-believers.
I'm Prolific Abdullah.
I'm Samba.
And you are now watching New World Television Network. I be trying to say network. The network, because the network, because like at the end of the day, we not gonna be able to progress without the different nodes of people coming together. Because again, like right now, it's just us two talking.
Mm-hmm.
But in the future, we know for sure we want to, in order to expand, people are gonna come on,
mm-hmm.
and we're gonna have deep conversations with. It's gonna help us expand on some of the questions we have, some of the problems we want to solve. And my boy Samba had a particular thing to talk about today. And I actually wanted to talk, so we're going to talk about 3 topics. We're going to talk about, you said, what was the first one?
Is discipline lost or is it something we avoid?
Is discipline lost or something we avoid?
Mm-hmm.
Why are Black people in the community turning to Islam? And the last one we're going to take cover on is, are we confusing freedom with the lack of structure?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I asked you in the chat today with the question, is discipline something we lost or something we avoid? Right? But the first thing I asked you was, what was the context of bringing about that question? You get what I'm saying? I think that's important too, not just to ask the question, but to understand the context of what made you think this question. So I want you to go ahead, inform the people what you do, what you're going through, and what are the things we need to, talk about, or the solutions we need to partake in order to advance this situation.
Yeah, so I'm a teacher, so I'm around a lot of kids in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I see the kids in a different lens away from home. And the reason why I said discipline loss is something we avoid is just like when you see these kids nowadays, how they behave, they say what they want, they do what they want. It's like there's nothing stopping them. Like I remember when we was kids, like if a teacher was to tell you like, oh, I'm gonna call your parents, you'd be like, okay. These kids be like, call them. It's like, and I had a kid in class, and I'm like, and the kid got up and walked out the class, and I'm like, yo, what you doing? He was like, well, I got ADHD, I gotta get up and move around. I'm like, huh? Like, you know what I mean? And I remember, I thought back to this interview I watched with Dr. Umar on the Breakfast Club, and he was like, ADHD simply stands for one or two things. It's the ain't no daddy at home disorder or ain't no discipline at home disorder. Because at the same time, like, I feel like it got to a point where we got these kids using that as an excuse. Like a kid to do something out of character and you be like, yo, what's going on? My bad, my ADHD. And then like, instead of developing these kids and disciplining them, we just doping them up. Like I had a friend, like, her little brother, when he would act up at night, instead of disciplining the kid, they'll just give him 2 pieces of melatonin so he can go to sleep. So it's just like, I'll say it's lost because the parents aren't instilling it in the kids. But at the same time, like when you get to a certain point in your life, it's like you can't depend on your parents to put that discipline in you. That's something you just got to develop as a person. And then outside of that lens, I look at, if you've seen if you've been following social media, you've been seeing that Stefan Diggs situation, right?
Yep.
So
inform me on that. What is that?
I don't know very too much about it, but based on what I've seen on social media, basically he had a chef.
Yes.
And I guess he had relations with his chef, and this chef said that he hit her or abused her in some kind of way, and I guess she was trying to extort him and stuff. But as I look to it, I'd be like, boy got a girlfriend, and he got into some sexual encounter with his chef. And that, and in my mind, I may be like, my thought process may not be wrong, but in my mind, I feel like the number one root of his problems was the lack of discipline, because the lack of discipline is what caused him to step out on his, committed relationship, to have that, whatever entanglement he had with his chef. And maybe if he kept that relationship with his chef, maybe what happened wouldn't have happened. Or I'll be seeing like on Facebook, like, I don't know, me personally, sometimes I like just go on Facebook and look at the drama. It was a couple months ago, but it was this thing going around where the girls had like a girls' room, and they was exposing all these dudes that were cheating on their girls or sending them money or were doing all these crazy stuff. And I'm like, lack of discipline was big. Like, now you're getting exposed, the whole world's seeing you. They saying dudes is down low and so crazy stuff. It's lack of discipline, bro. So I just see it like, I remember me and my boy was talking, it was at work, and he was like, yo, do you think like all celebrities that have a high status do some evil stuff to get there? And I said, not necessarily, but I feel like there's a certain number of people that do that stuff, like, and whatever they do is a lack of discipline. Like, I feel like the root of all evil starts with the lack of discipline. A lack of discipline will cause you to do this, do that. So like, I'm kind of in the middle of, is it lost? Is it being avoided? Because kind of it being lost is the higher generation not instilling it into the young generation. So it is lost, but when the young generation grow up and become the next generation, are they gonna follow that step, or are they gonna be like, nah, we gotta do something about this? So that's kind of where I'm at with that.
I experienced the same exact move you experienced with the kids using ADHD as an excuse for whatever behavior they acted out.
Mm-hmm.
What it made me think of was the lack of who they were. Because the power of the mind, or the power of beliefs, is crucial and is critical.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you believe that you have ADHD and you act out all the time, that becomes your aura.
Yeah.
That becomes the bubble that you live in.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really knew yourself truly in its full extent, you would have the ability to understand and to act in a different way, in a sense of, I know I can be disciplined. And since I know I can be disciplined, I know the actions that I took could have been a different type of action. When you take different actions, that changes your trajectory, that changes your pathways. So for one of the things for that, I think we need to instill the power of belief and understanding the power of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't understand the power of the mind, or the kids don't understand the power of the mind, they don't understand the power of creating or recreating their own reality and experience.
Yeah. I don't know if y'all seen it. I watched this Michael Beasley interview he did with Shannon Sharp. And I may be misquoting, and if you're watching this, correct me, or if y'all seen it, y'all can correct me. It was a part of the video where he said, kids nowadays not scared of their parents. They ain't scared of their parents, they ain't scared of the police. They ain't scared of the police, they ain't scared of life. So these kids just out here free will doing whatever, because there's no structure, there's no discipline. He said a lot of people would say, like, I was respectful as a kid. He said, I was scared of my mom. And in my mind, I'm not looking at it as like fear, like you are in fear of your mother, but your mother had disciplined you to the point where you have a regard of, if I mess up, there's going to be something that I got to face. It's going to be a consequence. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Rushing through.
Yeah. It's etiquette. Like, as a kid, I wasn't told respect your mom, respect your dad. You know what I was told? Respect your elders.
The whole generation.
Anybody older than you automatically deserve respect. Nobody, they didn't say, oh, that's your mama, that's your daddy, that's your uncle, you gotta respect them. They said, no, that's your elder. So I feel like we was instilled with a different type of discipline. Like, these kids talk to their parents any kind of way. They talk to the police any kind of way. And they're not afraid of life. They have no regard of, I may be getting a sin for this. They're not having no regard of anything in the future. Everything is now. Like, when they make a decision, they're not thinking about what the consequence could be. Where can you end up in 5 years? Their instant gratification is now. you know?
When you don't respect your elders, there's a lack of spiritual sense.
Facts.
There's a lack of wisdom right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we grow up with two things. We grow up with this war of elderly versus the young.
Mm-hmm.
In reality, there's no war going on now. And the thing is, the elderly have experienced life.
Mm.
They
Fact.
you know, and they've been marinated.
Mm-hmm.
They've been seasoned.
Well seasoned.
You get what I'm saying? They've been well seasoned, and we have to respect that because it's not easy to live life, especially 75 years of it.
Fact.
That's a lot of wisdom there to even get to that point. People don't get to 25. People don't get to 20. People don't get to 30 or 50. So there has to be an understanding that, look, this is a human being first and foremost. This human being been through X amount of experiences, and they have so much wisdom to give you so that you can skip a lot of steps, right? Wisdom is the wise the dome. Your dome is your intellect. And when you clean out your intellect, you remove the filth that's been running on in your mind so that you can take the next proper step. I want to talk about you because the question is what? What's the question? Is discipline something we lost or something we avoid? So discipline. What does it need to be disciplined? I always tell people is the difference between discipline and consistency. You can be consistent but undisciplined, meaning that you can do something consistently, but it can be a self-destructing thing. People smoke weed consistently. People drink consistently, but that's not discipline. To be disciplined is to be a disciple. A disciple is a student. To be a student, you have to be willing to intake information. This ADHD problem is telling me that you don't have the ability to sit down and take in information. You're like jumping here, jumping there, jumping here. It's a lack of controlling what we call your nafs. Lack of controlling your soul. It's a lack of just sitting down. I remember E.T., we talked about it before. You got to learn how to be a sniper. He was talking about how a sniper stays in one place and they're able to execute their target with a clean shot because they've been there, they studied the person, they know how they move. But there be people with drive-bys. They everybody but the target. And you make a mess. But a sniper, they clean, they efficient, they effective. Might not be the best analogy because we don't want to kill anything like that.
But I just paint the picture.
Trying to paint the picture, trying to execute a point. So we've lost the ability to sit still. We've lost the ability to take in information, and we have to understand, like, it's kids raising kids. So these kids that are having kids are not fully developed within themselves. They themselves are in a certain condition, and these conditions are having them bounce back and forth. They haven't really sat down and just thought about life. They're playing tennis. They're allowing you allow your own brain to play tennis, but you got to be the ref to pause the game.
Facts.
You have to pause the game.
Or take control of the game.
You know what I'm saying? Like you have all these tabs up on your computer. Bro, your computer gonna run slow. It's gonna crash. You gotta exit this one, and work one by one.
Facts.
We have to go back into what I call monotasking. Having the ability to focus on one thing than the other. But we're taught about multitasking. That's impossible.
It don't exist.
It don't exist.
The word exists. The action don't.
He's talking about the word exists.
The action doesn't, bro.
It's impossible.
Continue. You killing.
Nah, my bad. But
you killing. Flow state.
Bro. Flow state is so important. Like this ADHD thing, if you really learn how to harness the power within, bro, you will get into flow state. And flow state, it's like you entering one room to another. It's like all the doors are open. You're not stopping. The only time you stop is just like, oh, let me pause. Let me think. So we have to regain the ability to be willing to learn. Because if you're not willing to learn, bro, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. And to be willing to learn, I'll teach the kids, like, curiosity is your engine. Right? To be curious. So the engine, when you have an engine, right? He lied. I gave him those. But curiosity is your engine. Your engine gives you potential to go. Doesn't mean you're going anywhere. A lot of people have an engine in their car, but they don't park. You get what I'm saying? So curiosity gives you the potential to go, right? Now, curiosity is to wonder. So when you wonder, right? When you wonder, you then have to answer the questions. The questions that you have, you gotta find the answer to those questions. When you find the answer to the questions, then you ask more questions. When you ask more questions, so it gives you the potential to go. And when you hear the word cue, like when you hear it, like, oh, that's your cue.
Yeah.
That signals movement. Let's go.
Yeah.
In the word cue, Q-U-E, you form the word question. When you start to ask questions, then you can start what you call your quest. You get what I'm saying? Then you keep going. So like, a lot of people are apart. And they're all apart because they're not sparking the curiosity. And as humans, that's your natural disposition to be curious. Adults lose that. Kids have it. But when adults lose it, that's why they get stuck into whatever they're stuck in. They're stuck in the mud and they don't have the ability to get out the mud. There's no strategy in place there.
Okay. So before I touch on what the part that you helped me spark, I want to take a step back because when I hear discipline, and you were spot on with your definition, by the way. When I hear discipline, like from an athletic stance, what I was taught was discipline is doing the thing that you hate to do like you love it, or doing what you have to do when it has to be done, when it's supposed to be done, even if you don't feel like it.
Facts.
So, and then when you say curiosity is your engine, bro, that in my mind, that just like, I think the biggest problem with this generation is kids aren't curious. Let me explain my thought process, right? Kids aren't curious because they're exposed to everything. When we were kids, everything was kind of hidden from us. Everything was on the top shelf.
Yeah, that's life.
Now everything is exposed. Like you can be in the kindergarten and you know, like the stuff that we would not be exposed to until we were 18. Kids have YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. They're exposed to so much that when do they have time to be curious when everything is in your face? So I feel like when you say curiosity is your engine, a lot of these kids are parked, not by choice, but by circumstance, because they're already exposed to everything where it's to a point where they don't have room to be curious. But I'm in a classroom with 9th graders and bro, and to me, like, I hear what they talking about, but I just be in a state of shock where I don't feel like interrupting every conversation. But I be hearing the stuff that they talk about in my classroom, bro.
It's crazy.
And they're 9th graders, but when I was in the 9th grade, I'm talking about Beyblades and, you know, I'm a kid. Like, you 13, 14, you know, you a kid. So now it's like, I don't, like, the stuff they talk about when I was there, like,
PG,
like, that's the stuff, like, that's the type of stuff, like, I'll be watching a movie and the kissing scene come and I hurry up trying to find a remote to skip through it. These kids, so it's just like,
they talking more and cussing.
listen, yo, we up.
What you mean with that? What I really even talking?
Yeah, it's just, I think where us that work in education or work in school buildings, where we at a disadvantage is a lot of these kids don't have structure at home. So when we try to give them structure, it's foreign to them. Their automated response is to be defensive and combat that. Like, I tell a kid, watch your language. Come on, Mr. Samba, you tripping, but like, why you on there? Like, cause they're not, and the first thing I ask my kids before I, get on, I'll be like, you cuss at home? He'd be like, yeah. Your mama hear you cuss? Yeah. So like, who is this? It's like, who is this nigga to trail me? So literally, like, expressing, when I tell them, like, watch your language, they like, who? What? Okay, cause my mama let me cuss, my dad let me cuss. Nigga, like, oh wait. So, and that always is discipline. Like, if it's none at home, and like, I go back to this all the time. Dr. Umar said ADHD stands for ain't no discipline at home,
Yeah.
ain't no daddy at home. It's one of the each. Because you can, I don't want to say that if you don't have a dad at home, there won't be discipline.
Yeah.
Like, a mom can discipline, but that's not the mom's role. A mom can discipline. But I feel like if a mom is put in a disciplinary role, that will like mess up the relationship. It will hinder the relationship.
It's a different type of discipline with the mom. It's not it's not a manly discipline.
Yeah, it's more like an emotional discipline. Like you see, when a mom discipline a man, I feel like a dad can discipline you with a look. A mom discipline you with the boy, you don't get you.
Yeah.
You know, like a dad. But my dad could come in a room and just look at me, and when I was a kid, like my dad come in the room, he wouldn't even say nothing, like just to look, and I'd be what like, I don't know.
On point.
Yeah, like but my mom, she would have to cuss us out, yell at us. You know what I mean? You're right. It's a different type of discipline. And the thing is, you know, with noise, when a lot of noise is, noise, you know what happens when you hear so much noise? You learn how to block it out. You learn how to tune it out. You become desensitized to that. Your mom yelling at you. You become immune to that. But that silence,
it's a whole different dog.
Yeah.
We got to be in silence. So to be disciplined, we got to stay in one place. And we got to find people to help us with this, to help us expand on this conversation. Because there's grounds that me and you just don't understand yet. So we bring a professional on it to take us to another level to have that. The next topic is this. Why are more people in the Black community turning to Islam? I want to hit on that a little bit. I want to hit on that.
Can I start?
Go. I actually wanted you to do it. I was thinking in my head.
Okay, so I don't know, but I'm on social media a lot. Like on my downtime, I'm a scroller, you know? And I remember it's this folks that I see recycled all the time. And at first I took offense to it, but then I just started thinking more of it. I kind of turned a positive to it. I mean, negative to a positive. I kind of just started thinking. And I kind of like did my own kind of case study, basically. So I would see a post and it was recycled. Everybody kept reposting it. And it was like, stuff a lot for this, but it was like, does Allah require y'all to go to prison before y'all turn Muslim?
I hate that question.
Yeah, and it was all over. And in my mind, I'm like, I had to think about it. At first, I was like, bro, this is bullshit. Why would anybody say something like that? But then I started thinking, I'm like, it kind of makes sense though.
Okay.
When you go to prison, when you alone in that cell, it's a lot of silence. Your mind start wondering. When you in silence, you become curious. Curiosity is your engine. When you become curious, you start asking questions. You say quest, start with Q, that's your Q, and then you start your quest. When you start researching, you start reading. When you in prison, you ain't got nothing to do. You ain't got no phone, you ain't got no TV. You start reading. But when you read something in this bull, you put it to the side. But when you get your hands on something that's like, ooh, like the Holy Quran, you start reading, you're like, ooh, you read it. And truth is undeniable. So if you read it, and you seeing the stuff it's speaking to you, and it's like, it's one of those things where Allah, if you knock, Allah gonna let you in. Allah, that opening that Quran is reading a few pages, that's knocking. Allah ain't just gonna tell you come in. No, Allah gonna open the door and say, come in. So now you in, now you reading. And now it's other people reading too. Now y'all got stuff to discuss, positive. Now you discussing. Now you in rooms where it's 3 people and y'all both on the same page. It's like a book club. You talking. And all y'all got different point of views because all y'all have different situations. All y'all have different, like different situations, and y'all been through different stuff. So this may speak to you in a whole different way than it may speak to me. So now y'all talking, and now you're opening up. Now you seeing more people gravitate towards it. So I just feel like it's that time to think and be curious, and that's your engine, and that's how I thought of it. And I feel like when we look in America, what's the highest population of incarcerated men? Black men. So it's no surprise where Black men is the fastest reverting community in Islam in America. It's no surprise.
The question is understandable from a qadar sense. Like, you got here, and whatever trials and tribulations Allah put you through, He put you through them, and you found Islam. One of the reasons I don't like the question because of the intent of the person who's asking me.
Yeah.
I've had people ask me that question, and it didn't come from a place of love. I've had a couple people out of curiosity, but the question is not recognizing the system that puts these people in incarceration in the first place. Right? There's no true black system set in place for these people to be free without them even having to go to prison. So these people who are running and jumping and doing whatever they do in the streets, when they finally get to sit down, when they finally get in front of truth, and they have the ability to expose themselves, they choose this, right? But you questioning these people, why are they doing this from a negative? But you yourself haven't given these people a solution in the streets, in the real world, and then questioning why they're getting into something that's actually worth their, and they're taking out the condition that put them in incarceration in the first place. So that's the only reason why I hate that question from that sense. Another reason I would say black people are turning to Islam is, in Islam, we only worship Allah. And in Islam, it frees you from the notion that the white man is a god. Qul huwa Allahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad, wa lam yakun lahu kufuwan ahad. God is one. He is self-sufficient. He begets not, nor is he begotten, and he's nothing like anything else. So in the Islamic understanding, you don't have a conceptual, the mind does not have a concept on who God is fully. There's no imagery of God. But in this Western world, they're giving an image that God is a white man. But when we study the history of white people and what they've done to black people, is they've been terrorizing us. So now you have this inferiority and superiority issue that you're battling with. Because now, okay, white people have been systemizing us, killing us, doing this X, Y, and Z. And on top of that, I'm worshiping a white man. This causes psychological issues. It causes psychological problems. Now you've been taken out your nature. Now you're living in a false reality. And the thing about Islam is that you have to understand God, who he is. He's not a man. He's the creator of the universe. He's not the universe. He created the universe. And this simply frees the mind to think. When we remove ourselves from this, because that's the most oppressive thing in Islam. The most oppressive thing in Islam is shirk. And that pushing in darkness to associate partners with Allah. That's the worst. That's the worst sin. Any other sin is actually forgivable. You feel me? Even in the LGBT, even with the flamboyant community, that's forgivable. I swear to God, that's forgivable. Wallah, it's forgivable. I'm not promoting it. I'm not saying you should go do that. But it's forgivable in Islam. But the only thing that's not forgivable in Islam, and if you die upon it, is shirk. And if you're upon shirk, you're upon darkness. Meaning, and the reason you're on darkness because you're not understanding Allah. You're not understanding God. If you don't understand God, get weak. If you don't understand God, you don't understand your responsibility in this universe. And you have a great responsibility. And your responsibility is to be a Khalifa. That is the first mission of Adam, to be a Khalifa. Inni ja'ilun fil ardi Khalifa. I'm making a Khalifa. You are a responsible ruler. You are a responsible manager. So to become a Muslim means that you have a duty to society. And your duty is to protect the society. Black people need to be more protected. Black people need to look for structures and systems that freeze their thinking psychologically, mentally, spiritually, so they can develop systems that allow their people to thrive. So Islam gives them that opportunity. And that's what the people are seeing. So I think that's the only answer I got for the people. So if you're black and you're looking into Islam, it can be confusing because there's so much information somebody's telling you this and that. Bro. It's not an Arab religion. And those really come from the Hebrew Israelites or come from Christian apologists. And even if you say it's an Arab religion, Arabs are Africans. The Arabic comes from Africa, right? The reason we call them Arabs now is because Western colonization. But before, they were considered Africa, the Asiatic African continent. It was one continent, but right now, you look
North Africa, like
Asian Africa wasn't like separate before. It was just one whole thing. But colonization has separated. You're gonna hear information about the do's and the don'ts. Brother, I seen Brother Lul say, bro, no matter where you at in your stage, it's better just to become Muslim and do that act. Whether you're smoking, drinking, like I have people like, man, I ain't trying to be Muslim until I stop everything. No, become Muslim.
Then
learn how to stop. Then learn how to stop. Become Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
Mashallah, may Allah guide you. May God guide you, for real. And
I feel the word be to just stop like this.
Yeah.
Of course, it's false.
Yeah.
Or else I wouldn't go up this path and I know.
Do you know, like a lot of people forget.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, it's either they forget or they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what's the first step to prayer? Like, let me tell you, the first step to prayer, the first step to wudu, the first step to taking ghusl, the first step to revert into Islam, what is it?
Shahad, Bismillah.
The first step.
Oh, no.
The first step is Niyyah.
Oh, intention.
Word. So your intention is to stop. So don't never let your, like, a lot of people feel like their circumstance, like, I gotta change tomorrow. What's tomorrow?
You ain't gonna know.
What Michael Beasley said in the interview is tomorrow was a place that we had to go to. A lot of people won't make it. But we have the luxury of tomorrow coming to us. That's why you could be 600 pounds and sit on your couch. Tomorrow don't exist. So if you tell yourself like, yo, I can't be a Muslim because I'm a smoker, I'm gonna stop eventually. When is eventually?
Yeah.
Like, you don't even know you're gonna be alive the next hour.
I think a lot of Muslims kick other people out.
Yeah.
They don't even know it. You're pushing people out the religion.
Bro.
Go ahead. No, that's all I had to say.
Bro, I was watching this video. And in the video, it says church, but I feel like it kind of goes into it. So it was this guy, and his wife just kept begging him every day, "Babe, come to church with me, come to church with me, come to church with me." So one day he'd be like, "All right, I'll go to church with you." He went into church, and in the middle of the service, his phone started ringing. Everybody like, "Oh, what was that doing? What is he doing?"
Chirping.
The pastor like, "Man, brother, well, you ain't interrupting the service." Dude felt embarrassed. He ran out the church. Where he go when he ran out the church? He went to the bar. He went to the bar. The bartender handed him a drink.
Yeah.
Guess what happened? He dropped the drink. And he was embarrassed. Some dude came to him with a broom and a thing and started sweeping up. He like, "Hey, don't be embarrassed." Hey, the whole bar, another round on me. The dude was the man in the bar. He made a mistake in church, everybody got on him. He made a mistake at a bar and they all accepted him. And I feel like that's the problem, is a lot of people chase people from Islam because they chase them away because they make a mistake and they condemn them in a part where you have no right as a human being to condemn anybody. That's the job of the Almighty. So if you're telling somebody you can't be a Muslim because you smoke, who are you to tell them that? And the thing about it is someone that'll tell you can't be a Muslim because you smoke, they probably doing a sin that they hide on themselves. They might be doing something that you don't know about and it's just as bad or maybe even worse.
It's the act of mercy.
Yeah.
You gotta be bro, we're humans, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think people forget, like, you're human.
Yeah.
You're a legit human.
Yeah.
Right? You got feelings, you got emotion, you perceive things a certain way. Bro, imagine if the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam received revelation, went back to the Mecca, it was like, I'm not giving none of these people the revelation because they're all kuffar.
Mm.
My brother, we wouldn't even have the revelation in this moment.
Facts.
So please be merciful. Every prophet was merciful.
Yeah.
Every messenger was merciful. A lot of them were merciful. I would assume that. I would assume all of that because we think good of our prophet.
Yeah.
So just to battle that, black people or anybody in general trying to get into Islam, Allah is your guy. Allah is Rabbul Alameen. Your Rabb is the one that nurtures you from beginning to end. So a seed starts as a seed, but it turns into a full-blown tree that produces whatever fruit that it produces. And it takes time for it to produce. Brother, you are a seed. Allah will guide you from 1, 2, 3. When I look back at my life with certain things and actions that I did, I'm like, the whole time I was guided.
Yeah.
Because it could have went left any type of way. You know what I'm saying? So take time with yourself, be merciful with yourself,
Right.
and ask Allah for guidance.
And I think that's a big thing. Like, be merciful with others, but also be merciful with yourself. You gotta understand. I feel like a lot of us put so much expectations on ourselves that, like, we forget that we're human. Like you said, like, we know you're human. Like, you make mistakes. And then I want to touch on what you said. Like, a lot of people run away from Islam or kind of scared because, or not scared, but avoiding because of the do's and don'ts. Brother, sister, there's a do and don't in everything.
Yeah.
In a game of basketball, there's rules. So everything in life is rules. The smallest thing, a game of basketball, there's rules. Everything you do in life is going to be rules. So you can't say, oh, I can't do this because there's so many rules. It's rules in everything. It's rules in school. It's rules in your house. You feel me? So it's rules everywhere. So you can't say, oh, I'm avoiding this because it's rules. A lot of people aren't afraid of the rules. They're afraid of the structure. Structure. And that all goes back to the main topic that we started with, the great word.
And we're going to end with too.
Discipline. You can't handle structure. You can't. A lot of people move like when you were a kid, but like, I don't know if we can relate this to this. Maybe I said it once or twice when I was a kid. I don't know what I was thinking. A lot of us when we kids, get out this house.
So you could be undisciplined.
So you can be undisciplined.
Do whatever
You gotta be in the house at 9. You eat at this time. Lights off at this time. You eat. Like nowadays, kids got it good. Nowadays, it's what you want to eat. Man, when I was a kid, I ate what was there.
It was there.
It was on the table. If I ain't eat, I was gonna starve.
Yeah, facts.
If I wanted pop and there was only water in the house, I would drink the water. But now you got kids throwing tantrums and stuff because they ain't got no ice cream or whatever. Man, it was in the crib. And my dad and my mom, but listen, I asked my dad for McDonald's. He had the money, but he told me, nah, not today. And it was not the fact. In my mind back then, I'm like, but my dad just stingy, bro. Like, why ain't you trying to give me McDonald's? But now as I grow up, I think that was his way of teaching me that you can't always have what you want, or it's not always right now. Yeah, Michael B, he said it in the interview. I can't remember exactly what he said. He was like, yo, right now, it's not now, but it's when it's supposed to be. Something like that along those lines. Like right now, a lot of people hear right now and they think instantly. But your right now could be the moment. So your right now probably haven't even came yet. And we started with McDonald's, but this could be anything in life. Like a lot of people think like, oh, I ain't get my big job yet. I need that right now. Your right now could be tomorrow. You never know. You could walk in somewhere and shake hands with a millionaire. He was telling us last time we was here, he was somewhere and the person next to him was a millionaire. Like you never know who's next to you. Like that could have been EA Big Break. Yeah. EA could have been in Hollywood right now filming because he was next to a millionaire. And imagine if you're next to a millionaire and you're talking crazy, you cussing, you doing whatever, you're not aware of your surroundings, you burn that bridge. That person ain't never gonna wanna work with you. So all ties in.
I'm gonna end with this last point before we get to the next topic. But it's gonna go in. Structure is important. Everything that God has created has structure.
Yeah.
Plants have structure. Earth, dirt in itself has structure. The moon has structure. It follows its computed ways. The sun, the stars, the earth that you live on, everything that this building that we're in has a structure. That's why it's able to hold us. If it was weak, it'll fall. Right? The roads that you work on has structure. The cars that we're driving has structure, has a discipline. Everything that you look at this world that's created has structure and discipline. So you need to learn what structure and what disciplines that you need to incorporate in your life that connects you to Allah. That's the real structure. Anything else is no structure to me personally, in its fullest sense. So that's what that's about. The next thing is, the last topic is, are we confusing freedom with lack of structure? So I want to take over this a little bit. Freedom, I'm gonna say liberation. To be liberated. To be liberated, right, is to remove the conditions externally that are causing you not to act in your proper nature. So remove whatever conditions is causing you not to act human. But in order to act human, you have to know what it means to be human. So if you misunderstand your own nature, you misunderstand, you will not be able to be liberated. So to be liberated, to have freedom, you need to understand your nature. What is your nature? Well, I'm going to give a logic. God created us, right? And he has created a certain nature, a certain blueprint within us, and we must abide by that blueprint, or there's going to be consequences that we're going to face with that. We don't go into a car expecting it to act like an airplane. We don't go into an airplane expecting it to act like a helicopter, or a helicopter expecting it to act like a tree. No, these things have its own proper functions. You have your own proper function. You are a man. Your man is mind. We've talked about this multiple times. Your mind is your intellect. And another thing we have to understand, that's one part. Another thing we have to understand, so the conditions that we're in, right? Confusion is a condition. When you're confused, it's insinuating that things are tied up. When things are tied up, there's a lack of flow, right? And when there's a lack of flow, things are clogged up. You know what I'm saying? And you're not able to flow in the way that you were meant to flow in. And what we have to do is untie these knots. And the confusion is all this misinformation and not having the ability to dissect what's real information, what's false, what's planned, what's actual knowledge. And the information that we've been given, again, slavery is not over in a sense of, it's over from a physical sense, but it's not over from a conceptual and spiritual, mental and psychological sense. There are entities, right? The words that we use, we have to be careful on who's giving us the definition of these words. Because the word freedom and liberation in this Western world is given to us by European concepts that we have to think the history of these people. These people think they're gods. That in itself is an immoral act, to think that you're a god. So they think they're above them all. And they think that we are to be subjected to them. So they give us these terminologies. Allah said they shower the truth with falsehood. They cover the truth. So in order to cover the truth, you have to cover it with the language.
The wolf in sheep clothing.
You know what I'm saying? You have to cover it with the language. And they tell us that freedom and liberation, the slave masters, they tell us, they feeding us information. They telling us that freedom and liberation is to do whatever you want. But the reality is that's actually enslavement to your own desires. If you think freedom is to do whatever you want and you have no self-control, you are enslaved to yourself. I ain't gonna say you will forever be enslaved to yourself, but you're on a path of self-destruction. Where do I want to go with this? Because what I'm telling you is be careful with the concept you're given, who's giving you those concepts, and redefine those concepts to the proper sense, to the proper structure that God wants you to be in. And to be liberated is to remove the condition, which is the confusion. Stop being confused. When you stop being confused and find clarity, then you can operate according to your proper human nature. You get what I'm saying? For me, that's what liberation is. So, but again, we've been taught to be free. It's this idea, they confuse like freedom with this idea of art where you flow and you go everywhere. But when you study art, it has a discipline. Or this just don't draw this.
Got a color in the line.
They got to. There are different steps and phases that they got to follow in order to get this creative picture to look fascinating, however they want. So I think that's where we have to start when it comes to defining these things. Because again, like if the slave master is giving you the definition and the meaning, he ain't giving you the full meaning, So that's where I'm at with it.
I think about when you say, when people think freedom is just doing whatever, and you kind of just going with the flow of things, kind of think of it like you got a piece of paper, and it's windy outside, and you just let go of the piece of paper. The piece of paper just start flying everywhere. Or you have a balloon, you let it go. The wind just pushing everywhere, and that's kind of what's happening with you. Like you might be pushed in this situation, and let's say if these people are robbing banks, that's what you're gonna be doing. These people are doing this, that's what you're gonna be doing. I don't know if y'all seen this movie. This movie called Carter High, right? So basically, you ever seen it? Yeah. So it was a movie. It's based on a true story. This football team in Texas, Dallas, Texas, in the '80s.
Carter High. Okay, go ahead.
So what happened was, it was on Netflix. So, but it's based on a true story. So this football team, predominantly black school in Texas. Y'all know Texas reps racist reputation. So what happened was one of the star players was failing algebra class, right? The school is a black school, there's a white teacher in a black school. So the principal talked to the teacher about changing his grade so he could be eligible to play. Well, the teacher made like an anonymous tip to like the board and said, oh, this kid isn't eligible. So they like canceled their season, they couldn't make it to the playoffs. They end up getting it reversed and they end up winning the state championship, right? After the season was over, these kids getting offers from all these schools, right? So what happened is one of the kids work at a restaurant after the season is over and they gambling, right? So this is where it starts. They're gambling. One of the kids runs out of money. Mom walks in. Mom, can I borrow $20? He said no. Now the kid and this is all in my mind, this all stemmed from gambling. Because if they was never gambling, they would have never thought of this. So the one that has a job told them, hey, we need some money, right? How about y'all two come rob my job?
What happened? My job.
Yeah, basically like he in on it. So he gonna tell them like what time it's gonna close, what time to come in and come rob my job. So they went in the job, while he was taking out the trash, he went in with them. Fake robbery, they took the money. Now the money coming good. So now they go tell their other teammate, he joined. Then they tell their other teammate, he joined. And then now they come to school with the fresh chains, Air Jordan. So they tell the other two teammates, they go on and start doing their own thing. So what happened is they get pulled over. And when they got pulled over, they ain't committing a crime. Like they just came back, they coming from the robbery. But the reason they got pulled over is because the officer was a fan and he wanted an autograph. When the officer got the autograph and was walking away from the car, he got a radio call and said, we're looking for a red Corvette with no license plates. Arrested them. And they all got arrested. And they all got sentenced. One of them got 25 years, one of them got 20 years, one of them got 15, 13. They all end up serving like 7 years. The one is crazy. The one that had discipline, the one that said, no, I'm not going, ended up making it to the NFL. And all his other boys went to prison. And to me, that just started off with the wind flowing you everywhere. It started off gambling. And then it went to robbing your friend's job. And then telling the other friend that he flew in. And it's all flow and where they end up. And like, bro, y'all just won the state championship. All got full rides to a D-World college. And it's all thrown away over that.
Man, I think there's a lack of appreciating the process that you went through. Because first and foremost, I always thought it was a blessing to win the state championship. Like I've met a couple playing football in college, and I remember specifically his name was Lamont, cool dude with a barber. He had like 2 rings. I'm like, but that's a blessing, bro. And I know I went to Wayne Woods for a little bit. Bro, I know the work you gotta do to even
sniff that,
to even smell that.
You gotta respect him.
Bro. Yes.
You and break up with her.
But you know what's that? not to cut you off, bro. He said respect the game. It's so crazy that some people respect the game of football, respect the game of basketball, but don't respect the game of life.
I think they're not taught, or they don't understand or comprehend that those principles go into life. I was talking to Coach Fuller when I went to Winton Woods and speaking to Winton Woods. He don't know me. But I gave him a little, like, I reminded him, like, this what you said to me. He'll be like, Gasama. Or he'll mess with Issa and be like, man, Gasama the only real African. Feel me? Issa, you fake, you always crying. I've never cried to my coaches. Whether I went to Winton Woods, Lackland, or Ellsworth, like, you've never heard a complaint about me not working. That was never my altitude. Shit, yeah, you try to tell me stop working out. He like, man, being too big, dog. You get what I'm saying? I talked to Coach Fuller and I was telling him, like, yo, I wasn't the best player. I mean, I wasn't the best player, but the principles and the program that you had set was the foundation of my life, and still is the foundation of my life. Because after I left, I went to Lockland, which had no program. But I already had in mind what I'm gonna do. You know who gave you the idea to go work out? This guy right here. We was in Spanish class. It's like 7th Bill. I don't remember. 6th Bill, 7th Bill. He said right behind me. He was like, brother, I got an idea, bro. Like, what? He was like, man, we gonna get the keys from Hewitt and we gonna go and get into the weight room. In my head, I'm like, why the fuck I ain't think about that? And it sparked this whole, I remember, like, I can feel the joy now. Like, when you said that, bro, it was like, bro, I can't even describe that feeling, bro. I really can't. It was like,
the dedication and the hunger, and us also being able to, like, look in our head. He knew what we had to do to get.
Yup. Get in there. We had to just get you.
The big money plan is in there. The one never lectures.
What's ring?
You're all risen. I got respect for
Bro. When we got in there, they kicked me out a couple times and never stopped me from going in. And what that allowed me to do is get into junior college. And mind you, I went in with a 1.2 GPA in high school. I didn't even try in school, brother. But the principles of football, of the game, took me to where the hell I'm at right now. I'm speaking to y'all, do y'all game, showing you the amount of my intellect, you dig, how my new world, trying to influence the world.
And it goes as soon after Cliff or measure the ball presses. But the game during that time was very distracting. They would be added as you keep.
Yeah.
It's fun outside.
Yeah.
Talk to being how to be distracted. If that makes sense. It wasn't from about how not to be distracted.
Yeah.
When it's great things real like you know manly with a dog.
Yep.
That's a big use all you know how not to be distracted.
Facts. Like literally, it's kept me grounded.
You know what this made me think about? Exactly what we was talking about before we started filming. The video you sent me, and then I responded, and I was like, the man told the guy, don't put your kid in sports, put him in STEM. But you just sat here and said, if it wasn't for the principles you was taught in sports, you wouldn't be who you are today. And I could say the same for me. Like, I went to college, and I don't know what would have went down back then, but I can say, if it wasn't for basketball, I probably never would have went to college willingly. I probably would have went to college because my dad expectations of me was to go to college, but I probably wouldn't have lasted. But the fact that I went to college because I knew I can do what I enjoyed, that was my driving force, because I knew if I went to college, I could keep playing basketball. So it's like, I don't agree with a lot of people are extremists. You ever heard of the saying of too much of good is bad?
It is. Too much now shit.
You feel?
Come on, y'all.
Like, too much of good could be bad. Like, you gotta have a balance with everything in life, bro. You gotta have a balance. Like, I remember, I don't know how authentic it is, but I'm not gonna quote it, but I remember someone said, like, there was this man that he would just spend all night praying, day and night praying. But he would never make time to be with his wife and his family. And I don't know how accurate, so I don't want to say, but it was like someone was like,
Prophet got mad, bro.
Okay, so you know the story. I don't want to say it. They be like, nah, this nigga sound don't know what he's talking about. But you know, okay, so you know the story.
Yeah.
And the prophet was like, nah, like that ain't it.
Prophet said, you ain't better. Ain't nobody. He told me,
Yeah.
nobody is better than me.
Yeah.
Not in a disrespect.
In a disrespectful way, but in a way of letting him know, like, I'm the prophet and I make time for my family.
Boom.
You feel me? So who are you to say you can't make time for your family? So that's why when I say too much of good could be bad. So if you're telling like, put your kid in math club and this club, that's good. But math club ain't gonna teach your kid certain lessons that playing football or basketball would.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I can say me and EA met through you doing the show, but I feel like our friendship got strengthened because we played basketball together. Like, when me and EA send reels to each other, what do they be about?
Cool.
So, like, I met him the first day we were shooting, and you said, I'm about to pick up my mans, he do videography, he gonna shoot for us. That's the first day I ever met him. And after that, we started talking. We went to Dom's show to the gym downstairs. He told me he hoop, I said I hoop. Got his information, we started hooping together.
Yeah.
So now we built a relationship outside of this because we got something to talk about. So if I was never involved in basketball, you never, how could that happen?
I will say this. I will say to the extreme point, like I wouldn't tell nobody don't go into sports.
Yeah.
But I think what he was like alluding to was, because we talk about it all the time, like where Black people specifically, or just America in general, we haven't produced leaders that can think. Math helps to do that. We don't have people in fields of AI a lot. We don't have a lot of people in fields of like astronauts or science. And I think that's what he was alluding to. But to your point, like I would never take the point, like,
Yeah.
don't put your kids in sports, because again, sports took us, the principles of sports took us to another level.
Yeah.
And even going back to Coach Fuller real quick, if that happened to me, I could only imagine how many people's lives have been actually changed. And I don't know how much people really go back and tell him, like, or tell Parker and like, yo, he told me the whole point wasn't even supposed to play football. He said he wanted to create men. You know how many people I seen quit, bro? Bro, people quit. Bro, it'd be like 70 people in the beginning of 100. Bro, at the end of the season, the beginning of the first game, it's like 20, 30 people.
Man.
I never remember working out their futures or dug on and move the bell on that cured and so when you become an adult, you can quit.
You can.
No, you gotta stay in person.
Or the same noise seems to be pro and pro. We're not the
What do that come back to?
Discipline.
Doing the things that you hate to do like you love it. Doing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, when it's supposed to be done, because you have to do it.
You got to do it. If you want to be a man, you got to do it.
Got to.
If you don't do it, you're going to be a weak. You're going to be a weak link to your family. You won't be able to take it to the next level. You will be a liability. You won't understand the pressure. But it feels so good to be on the other side of just pain and growth, because that side is the side of you where, like, bro, it's like I told you before, fuck healing.
Fuck.
I'm not telling you.
Yeah.
They trying to take us backwards a lot of the times when it's the Western thought or just the era that we in. But let's learn how to move forward. Let's learn how to turn pain and pressure into greatness, you know? But in order to do that, you gotta get to the other side of pain. All right, so I think we done right here, my brother.
But before we start, I want to say so.
Say something.
I keep the sword sharp. You prepare for war in times of peace. Desert Washington told me that.
Right, the real at the V.
Right. You prepare for war in times of peace. Desert Washington told me that.
Facts. And I say to be at peace is to be is to be prepared for war.
Mm.
To be at peace is to be prepared for war. So, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuhu. Peace to the believer.
Peace to the non-believer.
I'm prolific Abdullah.
I'm Samba.
And you're now watching New World Television Network. Peace.
Yes, sir.
One of the that was well.